Chapter 4. My Hydration Mistake. I count myself as fortunate to have run the London Marathon twice. Both times were when I was much younger, and it was a bit easier to get a place than it is today. I'm going to share a story with you about the second time I ran it. It involves my lovely sister, who will probably kill me if she ever reads this book. Which is unlikely. As a primary school teacher, I'm not sure she's ever going to be interested in healthy marketing. We were both in our 20s and were lined up in Blackheath, about to start the London Marathon. We'd both been training for a while, my sister had new running shoes, and we were ready. As I had run it a couple of years previously, I decided to gracefully bestow some pearls of wisdom upon my sister. After all, I had completed it last time in under 4 hours, therefore I was now an expert on everything to do with marathon running. Sigh, the arrogance of youth. It was a fairly warm day, so I emphasised to her the importance of staying hydrated. Don't wait until you feel thirsty to drink, because you'll already be dehydrated by that stage, I proclaimed. My sister listened to my advice. For reasons you will discover shortly, I really hope that the advice in this book is more helpful to you than the advice I gave my sister was. Bang! And we're off. The race started, and we began moving slowly along with the thousands of other runners, just 26.2 miles to go until we reached the finish. Now, the London Marathon at the time had water stations located every mile. On a number of tables either side of the route were hundreds of small bottles of water, available to grab and drink if you needed to. I was running at a different pace to my sister, so hoped she remembered my advice about drinking plenty. Unfortunately, she did. Determined to avoid dehydration, she picked up a water bottle every mile and drank it. Yep. She went around the entire 26.2 mile route, drinking a bottle of water every mile. Come to think of it, I'm not sure whether she ran or sloshed her way around the route. When we met up afterwards, I found out that she'd had so much water, she'd needed to stop to visit the portable toilets on the route 6 times. Now, when you have thousands of runners involved, you get a lot of people needing to visit the portable toilets during the course of a marathon. With far fewer toilets than runners needing them, queues soon form. My poor sister ended up queuing at each of the 6 portable toilets she stopped at. We think this added at least an hour onto her marathon time. She was doing it to raise money for charity and was thrilled to have finished. She had done a great job and was rightly proud of her achievement. As her younger brother, I couldn't help but feel pretty bad that my advice about keeping hydrated had not been a little bit more nuanced. If I'd been clearer with my suggestion about drinking regularly, sipping water frequently, but not drinking a bottle every mile, she would have finished at least an hour sooner. Mind you, we did laugh a lot about that as a family. And even now, many years after it happened, I've been chuckling to myself as I've been writing this chapter and remembering that day. Why have I told you this story about my sister and her quest for the portable toilet? What on earth can this possibly have to do with marketing or business? Pacing yourself. It's very easy to read a marketing book, like this one, or to hear a talk by a marketer you respect, and to get overly enthusiastic about any advice they give. It is all too easy to rush into things too quickly without pausing to consider adjusting the pace of any changes you're going to make. Whenever you hear anything from a business leader, marketer, or training consultant, always run it through your common sense filter. Ask yourself questions like, does what they're saying make sense? Does it sound too good to be true? If I did the opposite of what they're telling me to do, what might happen? Why are they telling me this? Is it so that they can sell something to me? Why should I listen to them? Do they have personal experience in this area? While it is important to always be learning new things, growing and developing, It is even more important to choose who you listen to very carefully. As the old saying goes, all that glitters is not gold. Just like my incredibly hydrated sister running the London Marathon thought that she was using the advice I had given her properly, it can be easy to learn some new tactic or approach and then to overuse it or to introduce it too quickly into your business. And just like my sister, you may end up slowing yourself down as a result. If you have an imbalance, it may dilute, see what I did there, the effectiveness of your marketing. By way of example, let's imagine that you are a business owner who has not previously run any type of ad on Facebook. You hopefully wouldn't decide to suddenly spend £20,000 a month on running these types of ads just because a friend of yours told you that you should. Rather, you would look further into the possibility of running these ads. You would talk to other people who are experts in that area to find out what you should do. If you rush into doing something without proper analysis, you will usually end up regretting it. Even though this book has been written to help you, I cannot emphasize enough that the information and ideas you read in these pages need to be balanced. Despite what many marketers will tell you, usually for a hefty fee, there is not a one-size-fits-all approach to marketing. As I said at the very beginning of this book, I am not a guru. I do not have all the answers. All I can do is offer you a new way of thinking. Always assess what I say in this book. Weigh it up against what you know and how you think about business. Then use the bits that work for you and ignore those that don't. It's good to have an open mind, but not one that is so open your brains fall out. Finish sooner. Despite following my advice to stay hydrated a little bit too literally, my sister finished the London Marathon. She got to the end and received her medal. She would have finished much sooner if she hadn't taken my advice quite so literally. As you continue reading this book, please take the time to assess the ideas and thoughts within. Do not assume that everything I say is going to work for every business 100% of the time. That just is not realistic. Incidentally, this is one of the main reasons I'm giving a framework in this book, a way of thinking about marketing, rather than a step-by-step ultimate guide to marketing success. So, I think you've now heard enough about my sister and her incredible ability to overhydrate during a marathon. After this brief detour, let's get back into marketing mode by looking in the next chapter at how to diagnose a marketing problem.